Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things, and I have a project to share today with a quick demo on a really cool technique that is a nice, different way of adding some texture to an element on a card that you should put in your tips and techniques drawer for use whenever you're looking for something a little different. This particular project has one retiring product. We did get to go through yesterday the PDF for the 2021 catalog, which goes live on May 4th, was available for demonstrators. So I've now been able to take projects that I'm going to be videoing this week and separate them out by retiring and not retiring. So this particular project has a retiring focal that I really like, and of course I'm sad to see all of the retiring products go, but this one is a really nice product for, I think, formalizing a card and making it look like extra fancy. So here it is. And what I'm going to demo for you today are the little tiny black speckles on the soft seafoam leaves. These leaves come from Forever Fern. I used up, it's a double row of these leaves. I guess it looks like a laurel leaf to me. And I used an entire A2 size piece of soft seafoam. I cut 10 of these and I have 3 left over, so I used 7 of them. And the treatment that I'm going to demo today are the little tiny black speckles and how to get them. That is what drew us to this particular pin. I have the Pinterest pin. I will include it on my blog, and the person who created that project also has a video, so you can get all sorts of tips and tricks by following through to watch that video as well. And then I chose to sponge the ends of the leaves with old olive. I also have the cutout. I took a picture of it so you can see how I did the cuts to achieve the 10 individual leaves. They are double row separated with dimensionals so that it adds more dimension. And then I did have, before I put it in its sealed clear protective envelope, each of these little leaves were fluffed up just a little bit. So I will demo first the leaves, and then I will review the different products that were used as well as the retiring product, and then we'll do some dimensions. So the way the little tiny black speckles are achieved is using the Stampin' Up black marker, the brush end of the marker, and you take the cap. Now I'm left-handed, so everything for you is going to be the opposite, but I don't know that I could achieve that. So you're going to be like this, and you're going to take the cap and you are going to flick downward. I've done one flick, and I'm going to show you. I started the flick right about here. And I'm going to pick up a piece of paper so you can see the direction that the spatters go. They are all on the right side of that line. So, and they extend out by many inches. So do some practice swipes on the cap to figure out, your radius. I see with my flick about an inch above. You can get closer, you can get farther away, but I'm about an inch off the paper. And I did another flick and it went off this direction. The first flick I did went off this direction, and I see speckles all the way out to here. So it's really easy to get speckles. I mean, I only flicked twice, and I got all of those nice, really delicate speckles. So that's my technique. The tips that I can share with you. It is easy to make a mess. Here's where I was practicing, and look at this mess that I have. I mean, it went everywhere. So be very, very careful, very light flicking, and you can get plenty of speckles. So let's go back to not looking at the big mess I made. This project has the retiring tin tile embossing folder. I used for the Rococo Rose layer, I chose Love You Always foil stamped paper, DSP, and I used the Rococo Rose. It comes in 3 different colors. So I could make a set of these cards if I wanted, because then I used, for the black trim, I used the True Love Designer Series paper that on the back side, let's see if I can get it so you can see them all. They're all florals, and on the opposite side are patterns. This was used in the inspiration pin she picked one of these for. I believe she picked the diamond one. And hers was monochromatic with just the seafoam. And I knew when I saw the pin, I immediately knew who I was going to make the card for, and I knew it was going to have pink. I did not know I would choose this beautiful foil. But after I had done the tin tile and had the black, I really decided that for the person I wanted it for, that it had to have more color. This person's kind of like my husband, loves bling and loves lots of color. So I had to morph it from a somewhat monochromatic looking card to a more colorful card. The trim is 4 pieces of 1/4 inch. I wanted to use the crinkle ribbon that Stampin' Up has that I really love, and I just did not have enough. I would have needed, I would say 10 inches. You could go, it would be better to go longer than shorter, because you group them in a cluster of 4, and then I do bunny ears. So when you had the 4 and you're trying to loop them through and around, it's really thick. Like, this isn't going to be hand delivered, thank goodness. It's not going to go through the mail. If I were to send it through the mail, I would be paying extra postage, because it'd be a 1/2 inch thick. And so I would have to pay an extra 15 cents on top of the non-machinable. So a forever stamp plus 2 1-ounce stamps would be required for this card to be sent through the mail, but I do get to hand deliver it. So the rhinestones are the clear rhinestones colored with Rococo Rose Light. And then the 4 strips of ribbon, 2 strips after I cut it in half. 2 of the strips were done with light Rococo Rose blend, and 2 of them were done with the dark. And you can see that the darks, I kind of stacked them so that they would be intermixed. And then I went ahead, as I was going to lay down the sentiment, which is tacked with some dimensionals and then also some foam or some dots to help with the arrangement of the tendrils. And then I snipped them off. I did not leave them the full length. They were actually longer, at least an inch or 2 longer after making the bow, so that I could really get them arranged in a nice fluffy pattern. I think that the fluff is what really drew me to this card, and the inspiration pin to make this for the person who I know will love it. All right, so now you go back and you can see the little black speckles are so cute. And you could make them, I went very sparingly, but you could easily make projects with varying amounts of the speckle, because you saw that you can get tons of speckle really easily. Okay, so dimensions for the cuts. My L square here is actually a dollar store square. I paid $1 for it, and it is actually quite sturdy, and it does have metric on one side and imperial on the side that I use. All right, so the 10 tile layer is 2 5/8. The black and white, you could do either the strip method or the single piece method. If you do the single piece, I cut mine just under 3 inches, and I think I actually started with like 3. I started with it wider and then trimmed it down to eye as I laid it down on the Rococo Rose layer. So I eyeballed it to whatever I found that I liked. The Rococo Rose foil layer is 4 inches, and the solid Rococo Rose cardstock is full A2 size of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. The inspiration pin had a longer label that had 2 vertical scores, so that it actually is multi-level. It starts flat and then pops up. And I did not cut mine long enough, so I just did 1 score so that I can kind of fluff up the fishtail part of the banners to make it a little more dimensional. And yes, it is heat embossed with the white Stampin' Emboss. Okay, so the Stampin' Emboss, another really quick message. Next year, I noticed that you will be buying the emboss. You can either buy it in like the primary colors, clear white and black, for a set of 3, or you can get the metallics in 3, silver, gold, and copper. So if you want the emboss powder in just the white alone as a solo, you need to get it in this year's catalog, and it will be available till supplies run out. Let me know what you think of this card. I will be doing projects, like I said, I will finish up the projects that I had already done, not knowing which ones were retiring and not, and those have the mini catalog products mostly as the focal point of them. If anything is retiring, I will try to point that out, like I'm pointing out that the white emboss is changing how you buy it. So keep those things in mind. I will be making notes and try to disclose anything I see on the projects through the end of April. Oops, sorry. And leave any comments, questions, or suggestions on my blog, where I will have the Pinterest pin as well as all of the products available. After they are no longer available, they will drop off the list and you will no longer get to the link on my store. If you do have any questions about ordering, feel free to leave a comment. Probably over on my blog would be better, but either place. I administer both comments, so if it's something that seems more of a personal, just for you question, I won't publish my answer. I will respond to you directly. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to hit the bell so you're notified when my videos drop, so you can see all of the new content mixed in with the retiring products that I have to share. And make note that the new catalog will drop on May 4th. Thanks for watching.